Once upon a time, there was a boy named Jack who lived with his mother. They were very poor. Jack's dad had left his mother a widow. They had to sell everything they owned just to buy food. When they were down to their last milking cow, Jack's mom asked him to take the cow to the market and sell it. Along the way, Jack met a strange man who told him wild stories of magic beans. "Where can I buy some of these magic beans for my mother?" asked Jack. "I have the last 5 magic beans, and I will sell them to you because you are a good boy," said the man. "I have nothing but our old cow, and we need the money I will get by selling her to buy food," said Jack. The strange man replied, "Don't worry. Trust me, these beans will bring you food and good fortune, and you will make your mother proud." Jack was not too sure, but he agreed to trade his cow for the beans. When Jack returned home, his mother was very angry, and she threw the magic beans out the window. She was so upset she began to cry. Jack went to bed that night sad and hungry. When he awoke in the morning, he saw a giant beanstalk had grown right where his mother had thrown the beans just outside the window. "The beans really are magic," he said. He could see the beanstalk reached all the way to the clouds high in the sky. Jack had heard stories of the clouds being filled with gold coins, so he began to climb the beanstalk to see what he could find. Jack climbed and climbed, and when he reached the top, he saw a giant castle. Jack slipped by the giant castle door. Once inside, he saw a giant man eating a huge dinner. Jack watched him eat. When the giant man was finished his dinner, he called for his servant to bring him his bag of gold coins. The giant was so full he fell asleep. Jack snuck up and took his bag of gold coins, running out of the castle as fast as he could and climbing down the beanstalk with the heavy bag. Jack's mother was very surprised and happy, as the gold coins in the sack were the same amount of coins the giant had stolen from Jack's father many years ago. Jack's mother also made Jack promise to never return to the giant's castle. She warned him how dangerous it was to go there, but soon the money began to run out. Jack wondered if he could find anything else in the giant's castle. He decided to climb back up the beanstalk to visit the giant's castle. He saw the giant eating his dinner. When he was finished, he called for his servant to bring his magic hen. Jack was amazed when he saw the hen lay an egg of pure gold. The giant became drowsy and fell asleep. Jack snuck up and took the hen and ran back towards the beanstalk. When he came home, Jack's mother was upset with Jack for returning to the castle. She grabbed an axe to cut down the beanstalk, but Jack stopped her and showed her that the hen lays golden eggs. Jack's mother was so pleased to see the hen laid one golden egg after another. After some time, Jack was very curious about what else he would find in the castle. So he climbed back up the beanstalk. He found the giant in his castle eating his dinner. He finished his dinner and called for his servant to bring his magic harp. Jack was surprised to hear the harp play beautiful music all by itself. The giant dozed off to the beautiful music coming from the harp. Jack snuck up and snatched the harp to take back to his mother. The harp started playing very loudly, and the giant awoke. "Fee, fi, fo, fum," said the giant. Jack raced down the beanstalk, trying to escape the angry giant. The beanstalk shook from the giant's large steps. Jack got to the bottom first and found the axe. He began to chop at the beanstalk. The beanstalk collapsed, and the giant fell to earth, never to be seen again. Jack and his mother and the hen lived happily ever after. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, a lovely princess was born. The king and queen named their daughter Aurora. They invited everyone in the kingdom to the palace to celebrate her birth. Everyone except for the evil fairy Maleficent. The wicked fairy was so mad about not being invited that she snuck in anyway, in a flash of lightning, and she put a curse on beautiful Princess Aurora. Before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she will prick her finger on a spinning wheel and die. Then, Maleficent, in a flash of thunder, disappeared. Luckily, 3 good fairies were at the party, and they softened the curse with a prophecy that said, "If this will happen, you will only sleep, not die. Your sleep will be ended when your true love gives you a kiss." The 3 fairies disguised themselves as peasant women and agreed to raise Aurora in the woods to keep her identity a secret until the night of her 16th birthday. The years passed and Princess Aurora grew into a lovely girl. She only knew the 3 women as her aunts, not as fairies, and they called her Briar Rose. The evil fairy Maleficent was always looking for her, but never could find her. Briar Rose always dreamed of meeting a handsome young man and falling in love. Then, on the day of her 16th birthday, a prince was riding through the woods. The prince heard Briar Rose singing. He asked her to dance, and before they knew it, they had fallen in love. Briar Rose had no idea he was a prince from a nearby kingdom, and the prince had no idea that she was really a princess. The 3 aunts were busy baking Briar Rose's 16th birthday cake. Briar Rose returned to the cottage and told her aunts about the stranger she had met and danced with. The aunts told Briar Rose her real name was Princess Aurora, and she would be returning to the castle that evening. The 3 fairies brought Princess Aurora home to her eagerly awaiting family. Everyone thought the princess had escaped Maleficent's evil curse. But no one knew Maleficent was hiding upstairs. As soon as Maleficent saw Aurora alone, she put her in a trance and led her into a room with a gleaming spinning wheel. "Touch the spindle, touch it," said Maleficent. Princess Aurora obeyed. She pricked her finger and fell to the floor. The 3 fairies found the sleeping princess and were heartbroken. They must now find the handsome stranger the princess had met in the woods. The fairies found the prince, and when he heard the news, he raced towards Princess Aurora's castle. Maleficent was waiting to stop the prince, but she was no match for the prince, and he made his way to the peaceful, beautiful, sleeping Princess Aurora. He knelt by her side and gently kissed her. Slowly, Princess Aurora opened her eyes. She smiled when she saw the face of the handsome stranger from the forest. He was her true love. Aurora sat up and took his hand. The prince asked Aurora to be his bride. "Yes, of course," replied Princess Aurora. They would live in his grand castle, close to her parents and her fairy aunts. Princess Aurora and the prince lived happily ever after. A long time ago, a beautiful young woman was forced to live in an enchanted castle with a hideous beast. Belle had agreed to be his prisoner in place of her father. Belle soon discovered that she and the beast were not the only people living in the enchanted castle. To her surprise, she found out that the former servants of the castle had been magically transformed into everyday objects: a teapot, a teacup, a candelabra, a clock. Meanwhile, the beast was very nervous. A long, long time ago, the evil witch who had turned him from a handsome prince into an ugly beast had warned him that he must learn to love and be loved to break the spell and turn back into a handsome prince. He had lost all hope until he met Belle. He was afraid she would never ever see him as a prince, but only as a monster. "She is so beautiful, and just look at me," he shouted to the servants. Mrs. Potts, the teapot, told him, "You must help her see past all that," she said. The candelabra agreed with Mrs. Potts. They told the beast to be a gentleman, compliment her, be kind, gentle, and sincere, but mostly to control his temper. The beast invited Belle to dinner, but she said, "No, thank you." The beast got very angry and roared, "If she doesn't eat with me, she doesn't eat at all." Despite their master's orders, Mrs. Potts secretly fed Belle dinner. Mrs. Potts and the other servants entertained Belle, and they all laughed and sang, "Be our guest." Belle was very fond of all the servants, but wanted nothing to do with the beast. Only after he proved that he cared by protecting her from the wolves did she begin to trust him. Slowly over time, they became friends. One day, as they played in the snow, Belle watched the beast hand feed the birds, and she realized there was a side of him she had never seen before. A kind and gentle side. The beast was so happy that Belle was no longer afraid of him. The beast wanted to give Belle a special gift for bringing happiness back into his life. He asked Belle to cover her eyes, and he led her into an enormous library. Belle could not believe her eyes when she saw all of the books. "They're all yours," said the beast. He knew how much she loved books. "Oh, thank you so much," she smiled. Belle read many books to the beast, and their friendship grew very strong. They each found they could talk and laugh with each other as they could with no one else. One night, a very special evening was planned. The beast wanted everything to be perfect. He worried very much about how he looked. The candelabra and mantel clock helped him to get ready. They told the beast how handsome and elegant he looked. When he saw Belle looking so beautiful in her ball gown, the beast bowed. At dinner, the beast was the perfect gentleman, and when Mrs. Potts began to sing a love song, the beast asked Belle to dance. She said yes, and they danced in each other's arms. The servants watching from the doorway were so happy for the beast. They would not have guessed that the beast's love for Belle would send her away. But he told Belle she was free to go. He could no longer keep her a prisoner. Belle left to visit her sick father. The beast's heart was broken. Villagers attacked his castle and he could not fight. He let them come in. Belle realized she belonged with the beast and returned to find him. Belle found the beast wounded and dying. "At least I get to see you one last time," said the beast, gazing into Belle's eyes. "No," cried Belle. "I love you." All of a sudden, a great beam of light beamed down on the beast. He returned to his human form. Belle stared at the handsome prince in front of her. "Belle, it's me," he assured her. Looking deep into his eyes, she saw her friend's gentleness and love. "It is you," Belle cried, and she kissed him joyfully. Fireworks lit up the sky, and all the servants became humans again. To celebrate this great event, the prince and Belle had a fantastic ball in their shining, perfect castle. Belle wore her stunning evening gown, and the prince looked handsome and dashing. All the servant friends attended the grand ball as well. Belle and the prince danced in each other's arms all night. It was very clear for all to see how much they were in love. Belle and the prince lived happily ever after. A long, long time ago, beyond the Great Wall of China, a tiny dragon named Mushu left his home in search of a young girl named Mulan. Mulan had cut her hair and dressed as a man to take her place in the war against the fierce warrior Huns. Mushu the dragon was supposed to guard and protect Mulan. "Walk like a man, legs apart," advised Mushu as she entered camp. "Punch the guys in the arm, they seem to like that. Call them nicknames and spit a lot." Every time Mulan followed Mushu's advice, Mulan caused more trouble. Soon all the new recruits were fighting. The camp was in total chaos. When Captain Chang arrived, Captain Chang asked Mulan her name. As Mulan tried to disguise her voice as a man, she told Captain Chang her name was Ping. Captain Chang was a strong and skillful leader. Mulan felt inadequate, but she worked hard and used her mind to finally win Captain Chang's respect. All of the soldiers admired Ping's determination and hard work. She inspired them. Not even her best friends knew that Ping was a woman. One day, Captain Chang led his troops to join the Imperial Army. Mulan and her friends sang songs, but sadly, their good cheer ended when they realized the army and their village were in ruins. Captain Chang was extremely upset when he realized his father, the general, had been killed in the battle. Mulan tried to comfort Captain Chang, but the Huns returned. Mulan proved to be a great and courageous soldier. Mulan, with Mushu's help, caused a huge avalanche that buried the enemies. Even though Mulan was wounded in the battle, she was still able to jump on her horse and rescue Captain Chang from the oncoming snow. As Mulan's soldier friends helped Mulan and Captain Chang back to safety, Captain Chang awoke and looked at Mulan with admiration. "From now on, you have my trust," he said, and he thanked her. Mulan's smile soon turned to pain, and as her wound was treated, everyone learned the truth about Ping. They all found out Ping was a woman. At this time in China, Mulan's deception was punishable by death. But Captain Chang spared her. "A life for a life," Captain Chang declared. Feeling rejected, Mulan watched as the troops marched away, leaving her alone with Mushu. With a sad, heavy heart, Mulan confided in her friend Mushu that she just wanted to do things right, so that when she looked in the mirror, she would see someone worthwhile. "But," Mulan said, "I was wrong. I see nothing." Mushu tried to make Mulan feel better, and confessed he had set out to make Mulan a hero so he could regain his position as guardian. "At least you risked your life to help people you love. I risked your life to help myself," said Mushu. Mulan hugged the little dragon. How could she be mad at such a friend? This quiet moment was shattered when Mulan realized that a few of the Huns had survived. She raced toward the imperial city to warn Captain Shang. Mulan got there just moments too late, as the emperor had already been taken as a prisoner. Mulan's soldier friends tried so hard to break down the palace door, but without any success. Mulan said she had an idea. Mulan dressed her soldier friends as women. The Huns had no idea they were soldiers, and the soldiers got in and rescued the emperor. But Shan Yu, the Hun leader, fiercely attacked Captain Shang. To protect the captain, Mulan revealed herself to Shan Yu as the soldier who defeated him at the mountain. Shan Yu began to chase Mulan, but the dragon and Mulan had a plan, and they led him to the roof of the palace. Just when he reached the top, Mulan grabbed his sword and pinned his cloak to the roof. Mushu shot a rocket towards him, and Shan Yu disappeared in a blast of fireworks. Mulan was so happy as she realized she was special just as herself. She returned home and presented Shan Yu's sword to her father. He was so grateful. Captain Shang followed Mulan home as he realized his feelings for her had grown. Mulan was so much more than a great fighter. Finally, her heart was full. And Mushu, the little dragon, regained his guardianship, and they all lived happily ever after.